Hey everybody, Kevin Weiss from bodyperformance.net, brought to you today by Riptone Fitness Products. And today we want to talk about love handles and in particular what you can do to get rid of them or lessen them and what causes them. And these are actually very simple answers, very basic answers. There's a lot of more complicated attacks on these or ways to deal with them, like magic creams and special exercises and stuff like this. And these are all based around targeting that essential area. So spot reducing is one term that's used often, and that's especially when you're talking about the abs, talking about men's lower backs and their sides of their torso, which is commonly referred to as the love handles. These have been marketed over many years to attack this area in isolation. And the simple fact of the matter is, it's almost impossible to reduce body fat in specific areas without reducing body fat in other areas. Now, that being said, men will lose body fat faster in certain regions. Their arms, their legs, for example, and then it's going to take longer and slower to reduce in other areas, mostly in their torso, in their stomach, in their lower backs, in the sides where the love handles are, and stuff like that. So in general, men tend to lose it a lot slower there, whereas women tend to lose it a lot slower in their lower bodies. So whether we're talking about reducing love handles or reducing body fat in any other region of the body, what we need to focus on is an overall calorie deficit so that the body has to tap into these fat reserves. Now that we know that, it's also very important to know that the body is going to tap into fat resources in certain parts of the body first, and it's going to tap into the hard to reach regions or the stubborn regions later on. So when I was competing in bodybuilding for many years, I got to know very quickly that that area in your stomach, the area in your lower back, your sides, the love handle area, is going to be one of the last areas that even begins to come down. And to get into competition shape, those areas are going to be the last ones to come in. You'll be extremely lean in your arms, your chest, your legs, and the love handle area is going to still have a fair amount of body fat in it or on it. So what I found while I was doing that was, because I would quite often measure my body fat with different gimmicks, or not gimmicks, but gadgets and stuff like that. And a lot of them were not that effective as far as giving you an accurate body fat percentage number. But the calipers, where you actually are pinching the skin, something like this, it's a caliper, it comes on, it pinches the skin and it measures the thickness of that skin. So when you have something like your back of your hand, there's hardly any body fat there. That gives you a pretty good idea. That millimeter measurement, that pinch measurement, is going to be much lower. And somewhere where you have more body fat, like on your love handle area, well, that thickness is going to be much higher. So instead of looking at actual body fat percentages or knowing that you're going to know what that body fat percentage is and being able to say, oh, I'm 5%, I'm 8%, I'm 3%, whatever, I didn't really care about that number. And I just looked at what the actual caliper number was. Because they're coming to this percentage number by taking pinches from several places in the body, and then this is put into a calculation which spits out a number that is your supposed body fat percentage. And I just found that that was not overly helpful and probably not very accurate either. But I knew that if I took my measurements, my pinches, I called them, from several different areas, I could watch certain areas come down and see that number come down, and other areas would not move until these first areas, the areas that would get leaner easier, would come down. So as a general rule, I found that I didn't really start losing much in my stomach area, a little bit, but not much, until areas like my tricep and chest area and stuff like that were even below a 10 millimeter reading. And that was just the reading that I was getting, because even with the pinch tests, you can get some fluctuation just from somebody else doing it. Like someone could do a pinch test on me and get 10 or 12 or 15, and I could do a pinch test and get 8 or 20. So that part was very important, that you did it consistently, but I was always doing it to myself, so I was reasonably confident that I was making consistent measurements. So getting back to my point was, I'd be getting down to 10 millimeter readings in my chest and arms, and my love handles and right by my belly button, well, they would still be maybe double that or even more. And once I had hit that 10 millimeter mark on those other areas, the next week I would find that the love handle area had dropped down another millimeter or so. Because those areas, the chest, the arms and stuff like that, it's not like they continue down to 0 either. They would maybe come down to the 5, 6 range, somewhere in that area. But as they're coming down from 10 to 6, it takes about as long for that to happen as it does for the love handles to come down from like 25 till you get those down to about 10. And for myself personally, I found I'd never really got much lower than about a 10 measurement, an 8, somewhere in that region for myself in the love handle area. And that would be competition leanness at that time. So unfortunately, I'd like to tell people that there is some magic exercise that they can do for their love handles. There's some special supplement they can take. There's some special cream they can put on there. But the fact is, that's just not true. What you're looking at is an overall long-term calorie deficit, gradual calorie deficit, that brings down your overall body fat and allows your body to start tapping into these hard to reach regions or hard to target regions, mainly the love handles in men. So if you're looking to reduce those love handles, it's not going to be a quick process for you, because it's going to be one of the last things that's going to come down. So you're going to have to really commit to losing a fair bit of body fat and getting yourself quite lean before you're going to start seeing a significant drop in there. It's not that they won't come down at all. Of course they will. While the rest of your body fat is coming down, they're also being reduced. But if you want to truly reduce them down, you have to have a long-term calorie deficit that you're working in. If you want to keep them down, you have to maintain that calorie deficit and then go back to maintenance level calories, maybe slowly build your calories back up, and kind of play that game in that range where you can keep those love handle areas or those problem body fat areas in the range that you want them to be. If you do get yourself extraordinarily lean, don't expect to be able to stay there, because the things that you have to do to get to that leanness are unsustainable, and they're more like competition type strategies that you're doing for a day or for a certain day, hitting that target for a day, but maintaining them is not really realistic or possible. But that could be a subject of a whole nother video. So if you're looking to reduce your love handles, you better get your diet under control, and you better be prepared to put in some time. I'm Kevin Weiss from bodyperformance.net, brought to you by Riptone Fitness Products. Hope this helps you out. I'll talk to you again real soon.